Maya Angelou's your favorite rapper's favorite rapper.
Favorite. And I'm gonna name some balls. I'm gonna name some balls. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time.
Welcome, Bizak.
To the journey's path.
Yes, sir.
Every path has a journey, and every journey has a path. That's why you're tuning in with us. Thanks for tuning in
Thank you.
to a great episode.
Part 2 of our Women's History Month saga. We're going to be following up on our draft here. But before we follow up on our draft, if you enjoyed what we did last episode, definitely leave a like, subscribe, comment, share it with somebody, share it with a woman. Maybe you want to share your appreciation. Let them know you like something, you want to do something,
And we appreciate ya.
Appreciate everything you do. But before we get started, from all my anime fans out there, I read chapter 1079. Shanks is wicked. Shanks is cold. My man over here, he is cool. He don't watch anime. He don't read manga. It's cool, But shameless plug. We do have separate channels outside of this, where we are going to be talking about separate things that you guys may be interested in. But chapter 1079, boy,
he's talking a different language to me right now.
Is wild. But without further ado, we are going to get back into our draft. We are going to talk about why we drafted these people, who were there. Let me get back to my handy dandy notebook. You feel me?
I actually physically have a notebook. If you see me looking down,
then this goes to show the difference in our journeys. You write things down. I put things on my phone because I absolutely hate writing.
I feel like it's freeing for me.
It's extra work for me.
Maya, thank you so much for your writing. But
that means I gotta walk around. I gotta find it. I gotta make sure I bring it.
I have my phone. That's true.
But listen. That's the tech in me being lazy.
You got, and not being lazy. That's a skill, bro. That's exactly. A skill. So I respect it. And
so I draft. I believe I drafted first. My draft was Miss Althea Gibson. She was a tennis player, lived from 1927 to 2003. Althea Gibson overcame racial bias to become the first African-American tennis player to win a Grand Slam tournament. African-American player, tennis player.
First.
That means men and women. The French Championships in 1956. I can't even speak French. Oui.
I've been practicing.
I don't.
Bonjour.
I just want a croissant.
Bonjour. Oui.
Give me a croissant. Anyway, she went on to win 4 more singles, Grand Slams, and 6 doubles titles. Venus and Serena Williams, among other women players, black and otherwise, cite her as an inspiration. So tennis, as we know, is an internationally dominated sport, not just, one color of person. But to know that, one of the first black people to ever win was Miss Althea Gibson at a time where racial tensions was very high. People were probably throwing stuff at her, spitting at her while she was walking through the stadium, walking through the tunnel. And she still bust their ass.
Giving it to them.
Stop playing.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I never really respected it, but I respect it now. Like, even now, my newfound love for, like, Formula One. Like, I respect what they do. Like, they go... You don't even know. You don't even know, bro. I was a fanatic.
I'm not gonna lie. When I was at my grandmother's crib, when she used to live on Chelsea Street, she used to watch racing all the time. Like, it'll be on the TV, and I used to watch it with her. And I'd be like, "What do y'all get out of it?" Like, I wanted somebody crash, but like,
bro, that's kind of dangerous. But it's a technical skill. But that's not an episode.
We'll
talk about that.
Yes.
But my mom, for sure,
Yes.
my mom is honestly so. Like I've mentioned, like I'm a big on leadership. Like we're both big on leadership, and I feel like from a start. And it was a phrase that I always heard from her. It was just more like, be a leader, not a follower kind of thing. Like, be a leader, not a follower. And that conversation or just statement has sit with me for my entire life. And for me to understand what leadership means is like, it's taking that step back and helping curate the events and the needs of the community around you. And I've learned that my mom's done that on many different scales, from community-wise, door-to-door, to like nationally speaking for Grenada on behalf of Grenada as an ambassador internationally during one of the highest and most violent times between America and Grenada. Like it was the true revolution happening. Like and
That's what we call a big dog.
big dog, talking about it. But she's like talk about it. However, for her to be my mom is God's grace. You feel me? Like being born of that woman and the creation of me and like the timing with her and my father is just like that's God divine. You feel me? So I'm so grateful and also so thankful because now I get to get a different point of view from where I'm living as a young black man in America, and then also just living as a human being in the world of how this world dynamic is interacting with each other. Like, because through school, like most of these things are kind of like coveted as a conversation that we truly don't know, but we don't really care about at the time either. So it's like now that I'm older and I actually do care about how the history worked and how, because I'm trying to focus more on understanding patterns in life, and it was just eye-opening just to say like, wow, my mom was part of that. So
Like that.
Cool history
Like that.
lesson.
I'm definitely losing this draft.
It's not a competition, bro.
It's not a competition.
It's not a
competition.
bro.
I'm just competitive. I'm sorry. I'm a
That's the
competitive
nature.
nature.
That's the nature, though.
That is a nature.
That's the nature.
That's a nature. I can't follow that up, so I'm not going to. I'm gonna see. This is why there are 3 lanes on the highway. You feel me? You in the fast lane doing your thing right now.
Really?
I'm gonna take it to the right lane. I'm gonna slow down because I'm just let you go ahead. You feel me? I'm gonna take my time with this. You feel me?
Gotcha.
You feel me? Because I'm gonna go ahead. My second pick, Miss Barbara Jordan.
Barbara Jordan.
Now, for some reason, I've always liked people that had 2 first names.
That's a good fact.
I've always liked that. I'm not gonna lie. Having 2 first names is really, really cool to me. Miss Barbara Jordan, known as a politician and educator, lived life from 1936 to 1996. The Watergate scandal helped thrust Barbara Jordan into the national spotlight. While sitting on the House Judiciary Committee, the Congresswoman eloquently explained why she supported articles of impeachment against Richard Nixon in 1972. Jordan and Andrew Young Jr. became the first African Americans elected to Congress in the 20th century. Now, Ms. Barbara resonated with me a lot because for some reason, I always tend to study like Jim Crow times and slavery times and understanding the breakthrough impact of the black people that's come out during that time. And to not only break through a racial barrier in the political field, which even today in 2023 is still very rare to break through at the political level at one of the highest levels to support articles of impeachment against the president at the time. And we're talking about a time where you as a black person could probably get snatched up on your way to the store and wouldn't nobody care. Like they could have colluded to kidnap her and kill her. Nobody was gonna do nothing about it. But she lived her life. She was strong in what she believed in, and she didn't let racism stop her from making it to the top to be one of the first black people again to be elected to Congress. Is a
Powerful.
true feat within itself, and that was something that caught my eye when I was researching these women and knowing people that want to be breakthroughs in politics and whatnot. This was someone that really resonated with me for who I picked as my second pick.
That was solid. That was great, bro.
Yes.
That was,
Yes.
I really have a newfound perspective and just also point of view on that now. Like, that's dope. That's dope. So and I feel like you laid the foundation. I'm I have to follow up on that.
Listen, man. That's what the team is about.
And following up on that is like another first. Madam C.J. Walker. Madam C.J. Walker is the first black woman billionaire in her time.
You know how hard it is to make $1 billion? You know how much it is? You know how hard it is to be worth $1 billion?
You know what's more money it was worth back then to be a billionaire than it is now? Like, so it's just like,
harder.
it's truly a feat to understand from, and this is like, I feel like this is a common thread of women in my life where they find a need, they fill a need. Like her whole business was built off a need that she needed for herself, finding a solution and then not holding it as a hostage and giving it to the people around her, helping the people around her and doing it face to face. Like people knew her for this product and the type of customer service she had with them. it allowed me to really get to understand what direct to consumer really is. And we're seeing it now through our lifetime, like especially through like the ability to order something from you online. Like I was watching the Amazon movie, bro. It was like really a big dynamic because the launching of a website was such a big thing. When today, 2 seconds you can go launch a website. Your Instagram, your social media is technically a website.
Yeah, your Instagram is a website. Or you spend what $2.99 a month to have a link tree. You put all your links to what you do on your website. On your Instagram, you don't even have to have a website. You just have a link tree. A link tree goes straight to whatever you want it to. Maybe you have an Etsy store. Maybe you have a Twitter. Maybe you have something like.
Imagine she had using technology at this day now, like
This is gonna sound crazy, right? But just remember that OnlyFans was not originally supposed to be what it is. It was
Right.
supposed to be for people to actually subscribe to
Learn.
content that you can sell as a person, whether you're a tech consumer, whether you're a lawyer, whatever content you feel like you are comfortable selling. You could sell it to that. You can use that platform to sell it. So just imagine like the monetization that people would have got if they used it correctly.
I mean,
Using it correctly.
Patreons are something like that now.
It is.
In a form of fashion, even fan base as a social media that helps pay creators.
Yes.
So it's pretty dope. All right, but that wraps up my second pick.
That's your second pick, so we're gonna go to my that means talking about my third pick.
Facts.
Bring out the good old notepad. My third pick. Now she lived a little bit earlier, so as you can tell, the theme of my picks were people that had broke through during a very harsh time for Black people. Frances E.W. Harper. Frances, poet, author, activist, lived from 1825 to 1911. Now,
Full life.
that is a good life. That's a very good life. Miss Harper was a suffragist and an organizer for the National Women's Christian Temperance Union, an abolitionist
There you go.
who was
You got it, brother. It's not wrong.
who was inspired to the cause by her uncle, civil rights activist Reverend William J. Watkins Sr. She traveled across the U.S. and Canada giving speeches to anti-slavery organizations and advocating for women's rights and prohibition. She published her first volume of poetry when she was only 20 years old, and at the age of 67 published Lola Leroy, one of the first novels written by a Black woman. Now, Miss Frances Harper decided to go a little bit further, and what struck me about her was the fact that when you learn about slavery, you learn about Jim Crow, and you learn about all those times, you learn that Black people weren't taught how to read or write. We were severely diminished, and as part of our education, we didn't have the literacy to be able to keep up with our white counterparts. They weren't even our counterparts, with our white oppressors at the time. And to be able to travel to the U.S. and Canada, to speak out, to have the proper English skills to speak out, to be able to be a poet, to be able to be an author, to have one of your books published. It really speaks to, again, the resilience. And I think that's the theme that, shows up in this list that I picked, because a lot of the women in my life are resilient. Like, especially like as my mother, you gotta be a strong person to work MTA. Like, so, and just like that. So I see a lot of these women. I see a lot of my mother's resilience and the things that she, embodies as a person in these people that I picked. And it's just that the story of strength in a woman. Not many men can make it or say they've made it as far. Like, it takes a lot to walk in a woman's shoes.
For sure. And,
But that wraps up my third pick.
Well,
I'll
that's
let
a-
you have it for your third.
my third, and we know Miss the GOAT, the greatest of all time. We put some respect on her name, Serena Williams, and in the amount of different accolades she's accomplished in tennis. And we can just, I don't have to list them. We all know who Serena. Google her. It'll be right there. We'll leave it at that. However, but for me, I'm just such a huge fan in understanding somebody using time of transition, because being that I had to move so much, I drew inspiration from that. And when people decide to take on a new glass ceiling and break barriers, I'm just very intrigued by that. Like super intrigued by it, and I just take notes, like, and realizing that with her net worth now of, and I mean I may be misquoting this, but at the point when I looked it up, it was 260 million. 260 million. When now she's taking her focus after retiring from being the GOAT. Retiring.
Well, first of all, she never retired. You can't retire from being a GOAT.
You can't
She
retire.
she
That's true.
retired. She retired from the common people's game.
Oh, she plays another level.
She plays another game now.
She's been playing herself her whole life. But even though as great as the woman she is, like, she's now facing the world of VC, of venture capitalists, and now being one of having a firm that raised $111 million in initial fund in the first quarter of 2022 is like amazing. Amazing to say that that type of impact is being made by the decision making of.
She need an IT specialist.
I mean, she definitely do.
Holla at me. Continue, my fault.
That's what I'm saying. Shameless plug. Ain't nothing wrong with that, my brother. And then knowing that she's one of the most successful female in sports history. History. All sports, all women. The most successful. Take notes. That's all I'm saying. That's just all I'm learning about. Just like,
That's a lot you got to list.
bro,
That's a list.
I couldn't even put it all in. That's why I had to really jam pack it.
You have to put it. You have to condense it.
Put it down.
Somebody so great you don't have time to speak on how great they were.
And that's greatness. That's true.
I'm sorry. I use the past tense. You don't have time to speak on how great she is.
Is because she's still
She's
here.
still great.
Still great.
She's still great. She's still great. She's still great. So I'm taking on my fourth pick.
Facts.
My fourth pick is Miss Catherine Dunham. Miss Catherine Dunham, known as a dancer choreographer, lived life from 1909 to 2006 with a pretty long and decent life. She was about 3 years from 100. It's a good life.
Good life.
It's a good life. Catherine
3
Dunham
years from
was a
100.
changer.
What?
Bro, as a dancer,
You gotta
so
be
you
nimble,
know she
bro.
put a lot of strain on her body.
But that's the thing. Nah, that's another topic.
That's why women are the GOAT. Catherine Dunham, who was a change agent in American dance in the 1930s, tapping into the origins of black dance and Caribbean choreography and integrating them into American entertainment. Dunham had her own dance troupe and was one of the founders of the anthropological dance movement. She was a director in the Federal Theater Project, a government-sponsored relief program for artists that included Orson Welles and John Houseman. Now, Miss Catherine, why did I pick you? Why would I choose you? Why would I put you on my list of women that I draft? To live a life of American culture and to be cognizant enough that black people also exist in the Caribbean. At the time, a very underrepresented part of American culture. To be able to integrate their culture of dancing with your traditional dance and putting it on display for the American people to see. Essentially giving Caribbean cultures a platform to put their dances out in front of people is what I liked. As somebody who is that myself, I have an American father, I have a Trinidadian mother. So to understand the cultural aspects of both and to be able to put them on display for the world to see. At the time, she lived 96 years.
Right.
So to be able to choreograph dances and to be able to show off, and for those people that are in the dance world, they'll probably understand more of the nuances of the different moves and the different, counts and styles that she had to use. But just knowing that she took the time to find that research and found the love in Caribbean dance makes me a very happy Brandon. And that's why I put her on my list. So Miss Catherine
nice.
Dunham, you on my list.
That's nice. That was good. That was good, bro. That was good. That was a great pick. Now, I will say the big O.
The biggest O.
The owner of the O network, the Oprah Winfrey Network. Like, let it be on. We're gonna start from start where we are, and then kind of just understand where we got here, how we
Still
got
watch
here.
Oprah with my grandmother after Dr. Phil coming from school.
Nostalgia, true nostalgia. Like, bruh, it's like looking in the back of my head like, yo, oh my, you get a car. Yeah, look under this. She's the originator.
Boy, look under my
Originator,
seat,
bro.
boy.
Originator.
I ain't never went to church that ever told me to look under my seat. Never. Only time I get told to look under my seat is at baby showers, and I'd be scared because I don't want to. You know
That's
what?
how we're gonna keep talking about. But Oprah.
If I come in a baby shower, don't put me on the seat that got something underneath it.
That's funny. Well, and I feel like, as we know, I have this business theme of like these women have like made impacts on because I see business as a way to broaden people's exposure, but also broadens people's like scope of world. Like, because these things that businesses are created off of are needs, and she found that her need was something based off her self-belief and her ability to leverage that. Because like when I found out the story about her original deal with the Oprah show, whoever's they, but the backers of it, in that time, people leveraged their deals because they knew the value of the product. Now, if they're willing to give off equity, and that's a big thing, equity of owning percentage of everything that happens to do with this thing that I'm creating and the IP around that, she decided I needed to get something in there. It's planting a seed. Because now, as that contract goes on, she adds way more value now. She's the star of the show. How could you have the show without her?
You can't have the Oprah show without Oprah.
I mean, they do it now. They just switch the name, which is crazy.
Because it's the Oprah network.
But you can't do that. Exactly. It's on her. It's Oprah. It's her network now. But
every show could be Oprah.
Facts. But the timing of her now understanding when her next deal comes around, hey, I need a little bit more of that. I need a little bit more. I need more equity. Yeah, we can talk about the money, but we need more equity. Come on now. And showing the true story of ownership, because now it catapult to now where we are now in her career, where she's probably moved and shaked with the people and is one of the movers and shakers of the world. With a net worth of, at the time where I looked it up, was $2.5 billion.
It might be even more now.
I mean, we don't even know what this is just speculation at this point.
It's wild. It's crazy.
But
that's a great pick.
I mean, the Big O, you can't go wrong. Can't go wrong with the Big O.
Can't.
Shout out to you.
Wrapping up with my last pick. If y'all don't know, now you know. This is what I was talking about, alluding to last episode about me possibly crying. So my last pick is Miss Mary W. Jackson. Miss Mary W. Jackson grew up in Hampton, Virginia. Shout out to Virginia. Got a lot of roots in Virginia. After graduating with the highest honors from high school, she then continued her education at the Hampton Institute, earning her Bachelor's of Science degrees in Mathematics and Physical Science. Following graduation, Mary taught in Maryland prior to joining NASA. Mary retired from NASA Langley Research Center in 1985 as an aeronautical engineer after 34 years of service. Her date of birth was April 9th, 1991. Her birthday is coming up. Shout out to my Aries sister.
Shout out to you.
The day that she departed this world was on February 11th, 2005. And if y'all didn't know, the beautiful Janelle Monáe played her in Hidden Figures. And that was the first time I found out about Miss Mary Jackson. So out of the three actresses that played in Hidden Figures, Miss Mary Jackson stood out to me most because of my interest in engineering, my interest in the sciences and whatnot, and just her story kind of just resonated with me a little bit more. And just knowing that there was a time where there were three black women that saw the face of racism at work. Like, you are working for one of the highest organizations that America has to offer, and they couldn't see you as more than just a color. That they couldn't see how smart you were. They couldn't see that you could probably write formulas or circles around them and be able to understand the circuitry and the wiring. And it's like, we are more than just a color. We actually, most of us know more than you guys. And if you want to continue to neglect this, then that would be that. But she chose to fight all of that and to get through to the point where it was like, y'all not gonna play me, boy. I know what I know, and I know more than you. So what's up now? And you can't even. And she was able to back it up. So to round out my fifth pick, that was my idol. That was my engineering idol. going into my final, I believe last year, 2 years at school. That was my motivation to really finish strong.
Nice. That's great. That's great, and that's a great testament to understanding that you can draw power from that.
Yes.
You can draw power from that, and then that's what power is. The ability to help instill it when you're not even physically there, just by what you decided to do that day, and it got documented.
That's a fact.
She stood by it. On the interesting fact of like around the surrounding of like the network of like women in my list, I've come across like an interesting statement of, well, not a statement, but it was a list, and it was mentioning like the most richest women in the world, and most of them own businesses, but it's also finding out that their wealth, it was associated to the stock of companies that they like.
Investing.
Yeah, and majority of their net worth is coming from like having good stock picks, and it's like, wow, over time it just those decisions, they last.
Put a woman on your team.
Put a woman on your team. Put a woman on your team, and I will go with my last, because Maya Angelou has used words.
Great last pick.
Used words like so eloquently that most times we don't really understand them until later, when the situation of our life comes and we have to face those things, and we need that inspiration that you're talking about. I draw a lot of inspiration from Maya Angelou. And in her life, she's been a poet, she's been a dancer, she's been a singer, she's been a activist and a scholar for many of different people amongst like many different career paths all across the world. Like she's even been in for many different presidents now. Come on, like the first day she there speaking, using your words, like amazing, and realizing that she's known for such a unique and I would say pioneering type of style. Like her way, her words is just, you kind of have to talk it in her voice.
You have to. You
have to talk it in her voice.
You can't speak Maya Angelou without speaking Maya Angelou.
Right? That's, bruh, is the epitome of it. That's the
can't do it.
And I'll get to it because I got a few. I gotta get to those. However, she's also made a lot of pieces of work, pieces of art that I left behind. She has 7 autobiographies. She has 3 books of essays. 3 books of essays. Like, that's kind of crazy.
Boy, I get tied up around one essay. That's why I went to engineering.
Then she has 7 books of poetry and countless plays and movies. Countless, like, so.
Maya Angelou is your favorite rapper's favorite rapper.
Favorite. And I'm gonna name some bars. I'm gonna name some bars. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time.
Stop giving these people second chances.
I'm gonna hit you with some heat with the next one. I'm just going off the rip on these because these is great all around. So listen, here we go. We spend precious hours fearing the inevitable. It would be wise to use that time adoring our families, cherishing our friends, and living our lives.
Stop worrying about the end goal. Walk the journey.
Because it's the journey's path.
It's fun, trust me.
Have a good time.
Live a little.
Live a little. And enjoy it with the people that you love Show them some love. Show your flowers like we're doing right here. Show your flowers. Show your flowers. Now, we're going to go with this one. Never make someone a priority when all you are to them is an option. Close the book on that one.